Kuntres Acharon, we're on page 310. And you ready for a ride today?
Me?
Yeah.
You can take me where you want to go.
I told my son today after I was preparing the class, I was like, it's easy to prepare a class, but you don't understand it anyways. Mm-hmm. So you just come in, you just translate the words. It's like, well, it's the best of your ability, you know. This is hard stuff today. Okay, we're going to start. We're on page 310. We're starting.
It's exactly what the doctor prescribed.
That what?
That you fall asleep. You suffer from insomnia. I just opened it.
This is mamish, by the way. This is mamish the chitas of these days because, we learned this the past week. So what did we learn? Thank you so much. What did we learn last week? We learned last week that Torah, when we learn Torah, we do mitzvahs. We are bringing light into the Yud Kalim, the Asher Spheres de Zahulu.
What?
The Yud Kalim, the Asher Spheres de Zah. Reuven, you're going to get used to over the next few weeks.
Never heard of the Yud Kalim.
Over the next few weeks, you're going to get used to hearing terms which you're not going to understand, and I'm not going to understand. We're going to have to live with it. Just a warning that when we learn Torah, we do mitzvahs. We're bringing Eir Insaf. We're bringing the infinite light of Hashem in the Yud Kalim, the 10 vessels of the 10 spheres of Atzilus. Okay. We're 6 lines from the top of the page, and as 310. And as we mentioned before, that in Kuntres Acharon, the Rebbe is busy resolving different contradictions or seeming contradictions. The Rebbe says, elsewhere in Kabbalah it is stated, that we have, it says that the mitzvahs aseh are rooted in the 5 chasadim, and the mitzvahs leisus are rooted in the 5 gevuras. Although we know there's chesed and there's gevura, and in Kabbalah it talks about that both of these are divided into 5 elements. What the 5 elements are, I don't know. But as I state, that's what it says. There are 5 elements in chesed and 5 elements in gevura. So mitzvahs aseh are not surprisingly, they are rooted in Hashem's chesed. Reason being that every time we do a mitzvah aseh, the point is we're bringing down the flow of chesed here into this world. And Leitzah says the opposite. Leitzah says gevura. Gevura means is the opposite of flow, is withholding light. So when we do an avera, that's what we cause. We cause the withholding of light.
And with all this Tanya, this way it was written with all these abbreviated words, or this is just the publisher?
I don't know. I'd assume it's with the abbreviations, but I can't know for sure.
Why are there so many abbreviations?
Rosh Tevis.
Why so much?
Add that to the list of questions I don't have an answer for. Elsewhere it's written.
They don't always have an explanation in the section for Rosh Tevis.
Every case is
What?
Usually Chassidus is to 10, no? Every case is weird.
You want to know what the question is?
What
What are the Heich Sodom basically? What are they about that characters? Heich Sodom and Heich Gvuras. What are they basically?
There's a subcategory for this.
Okay.
In other places it says that what are mitzvahs? The mitzvahs are the 613 roads. Nimshachin mechad archachulu, and all of them come from a single road. So you have one road which then divides into 613 roads. Shehu lavnunis v'chulu, which is lavnunis. Lavnunis means whiteness. Yeah, this week's parsha, right? So actually, that's Chassidus talks about Lavan. According to Kabbalah, Lavan represents what's called Levin Ha'elyon, which is a very, very high madriga in the Lakus. Excuse me, the supernal whiteness. And in general, when we talk about Lavnunis or Levin, what? Yeah, but it's Keser. Levin is generally we talk about Keser. And the Kabbalah, it says, less smaller Bahai Atika, which means that in Keser, which is an Atik, there is no smile, there is no Gvura. So therefore it's all Chesed, yeah. It's all Chesed, and it's called Lavnunis. It's also because white is a simple color, right? So the same thing is also in the Keser, the Eir and Sof, it's like white. It's not Mitsuyer. It's not colored in any way. It's what's called Pashut. It means simple.
But white can have all the primary colors that makes white. You mix all the primary colors, you'll get light.
White contains all the colors of the rainbow.
Of the rainbow, that's right. I wonder if it has anything to do with what you're saying.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, when you look at it, you see white. But all the colors emerge from it,
Ah,
which is the same idea.
I heard
want that with the name.
I heard that the name of Lavan, he was Ramai Gadol. Even with his name, I'm Lavan, I'm pure. So he tricked everybody with his name too.
His father tricked the world by giving him that name.
He named him.
What? Akapanim. So what do we have? We have over here. It seems there's three different interpretations of what of where the mitzvahs are. The first thing we said is that mitzvahs are connected to the 10 spheres of Atzilus. Then we said they're connected specifically to the Echsadim and Hegvuris. Then we said the mitzvahs really are higher than Atzilus. Really, my mitzvahs are in Ketzer, in Lav Nunis. Which one is it? Our mitzvahs associated, what is it about the 10 spheres? The Kalim of the 10 spheres of Zah? Or is it the Echsadim and Hegvuris? Or is it the Lav Nunis? However, the Alter Rebbe says, "Shekola mitzvahs l'sakin ramachiv rizah." All the mitzvahs really is about fixing, rectifying the 248 limbs of Zah, which is Atzilus. What?
So it's the chips.
Zah is Atzilus, yeah. Aidei amshachas erin seif baruch hu. And how do we do that? To bring the infinite light of Hashem, b'moichen. Zah is Atzilus, but Zah is the midas of Atzilus.
What's Moich means?
Moichen is seichlos, chachma and bina.
Oh, Moich comes from Moich, right?
Right?
Yes.
Haklulen be'echsadim ve'ikvuris. The moichin are made up of echsadim ve'ikvuris. So makar ha-moichin hu lavnunis chulum. The makar of the moichin is the lavnunis. Okay, so let's do this outside. Let's say you're confused a little. Or a lot. Okay. You remember we spoke last week about the sparks that are in our world and all the physical objects, and these sparks that descend from the world of Tehu. Talk about this last week. And when we do mitzvahs down here, also when we learn Torah, as we'll find out later, but right now we'll talk about mitzvahs with physical objects. So we elevate these sparks, and that brings in, elevating the sparks to Atzilus brings in a greater light into the world of Atzilus, into Zah, into the Kalim of Zah, the vessels of Zah. And that is the ultimate purpose. The purpose, why? Because that light ultimately filters down into our world. But where does this light come from? When we do a mitzvah, we're bringing light in to the Kalim of Zah, into the vessels of Zah, but where is that light sourced? So that light is sourced in the Lavnunis. That light is the Eir and Saf, which is sourced in Keser. Which is above Atzilus, right? That is the, as he says.
How do you elevate it any further?
No, we don't. We need to bring light from Keser into Atzilus. When we do a mitzvah, we bring light from Keser. Where does that light go into? That first it goes into the Moichin. Because that's the Seder. First it goes into Chachma and Bina. From Keser, the light goes into Chachma and Bina. And Chachma and Bina are made up. The Hei Chsadim and Hei Gvuris, their source is in Chachma and Bina. Why is that? Because even though we tend to look at Chesed and Gvura as emotions, but really it starts in the head. For example, you're talking Beishamai and Beisilo. So when Beishamai paskined one way, he was Machmer, and Beisilo paskined another way, because Beisilo was Mekel. So what pshat? It's funny that these days I teach a lot, not so much over here because you guys are older people, but I teach younger people also. Specifically, I teach in seminary. So I'm teaching there around 15 years. Like 15 years ago, so someone, a girl would raise her hand and say, "Rabbi, you're saying this, but I think like this." Today, the language changed. Rabbi Silberberg, but I feel that, not I think, I feel, right? But I feel a different generation today. And sometimes I'm like, why do your feelings matter? Like, we're discussing ideas over here. How does your feelings impact whether it's true or not? How you feel about it? Tell me what you think. Don't tell me what you feel. But today we live in a generation where feelings matter. Now, let me ask you. We know Beis Shammai was Gevura. Beis Hillel was Chesed, right? That's feelings, right? So comes halacha, and they're learning halacha. So Beis Shammai says, you know what? I feel that we should be machmer over here. And Beis Hillel says, you know what? I feel that we should be makel over here.
Do you know?
So that's they paskin that. They paskin that based on their feelings. Chas v'shalom, right?
You have to know. Do you know?
It's based on seichel, right? But 1 second, in seichel there are no feelings. So if there are no feelings in seichel, and if they're paskin based on seichel, then why is Beis Shammai machmer and Beis Hillel makel? Look at the shaila.
It's a good show.
So Chassidus is explained that from here we see that Chesed and Gevura don't begin in the feelings. Chesed and Gevura begin in the mind. Meaning that someone who's a Baal Chesed, their mind thinks in a Chesed way, which results in them having feelings of Chesed also. Their mind, actually, whenever they see something, they think about it in a Chesed way. A Gevura person thinks about everything in a Gevura way.
Chesed is the child, the Gevura is the Av. Chesed is the child. That's what you just said.
No.
He said Chesed comes about from the Gevura.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
The cycle.
The Seichel. The Midas come from the Seichel, but the Midas really begin in the Seichel. It's not that just the fact that certain people have Chesed and certain people are Gevura. It's not only the Midas. It's not the mind. You know, tell me, my mind and your mind is the same. But you have you're a Baal Chesed, meaning your feelings are Chesed, and my feelings are Gevura, but our mind is the same. No. If you're a Baal Chesed, that means that your mind also operates in a way of Chesed. So therefore, the Heich Sadam and Heich Gevuras are, where are they sourced in the Moichin, in the Chachma and the Bina. So we need to bring light into Zav Atzilus. Zav Atzilus, the Midas of Atzilus. That light comes from the Lavnunis. We bring the Eir and Saf from Kesed. And it comes through the Heich Sadam and Heich Gevuras, which are in the Moichin. And so that's the answer. So we said mitzvahs are Lavnunis, mitzvahs are Heich Sadam, Heich Gevuras, or mitzvahs are in Zav. They're all true. The purpose is to bring light into Zah. The light is coming from Lavnunis by way of the Heich Sadam and Heich Gevuras. Let's do this again inside. You'll see what I said outside, we'll see it inside.
Oh, wait, so but Hillel and Shammai, when Mashiach come, be the opposite.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We're going to start again from Acharon. Acharon, however, the idea is Shekol HaMitzvahs L'Sakin Ramach Evedi Zah. We need a fix, so to say. By fixing means bringing in the light, the Eir and Saf, into the limbs of Zah. And we do this by bringing in the Eir and Saf into the Moichin, HaKlulin, the Moichin which are include within it the Heich Sadam and the Heich Gevuras, right? And what is the makir of the Moichin? And the Eir that comes in is the Lavnunis Chulu. And what is the Lavnunis? Keser is Hashem's pleasure and desire, Hashem's desire to bring down the light all the way down the Ramach Evren de Zah to the 248 limbs of Zah, and then that light, which sourced in Lavnunis, comes through the Heich Sadam Heich Gevuras, divides into 613 individual paths, which is why we said earlier, remember we said that Lavnunis is the one path which divides into 613. If you begin this mitzvahs, according to the Mount of Mitzvahs, sorry? Going, for example, when a person gives tzedakah or does kindness, let's say a person stands by a soup kitchen and gives out meals to poor people for a few hours. So what happens? Nimshach Eir and Seif Baruch Hu. We're bringing down the Eir and Saf. You hear Sasan? You bring down the Eir and Saf. The Chitzenius Hakli the Chesed the Zah. You're bringing it down to the Chitzenius of the Kli of the vessel of a Chesed of Zah. Why the Chitzenius? If you remember in the beginning of the Perek, we said that through Torah we bring light into the Pnimius, and through mitzvahs we always bring it into the Chitzenius.
What do you mean the Chitzenius?
The most external dimension. The vessel also has Pnimius and Chitzenius. So we bring it to the Chitzenius of the Kli. You want to know what's the difference between the Pnimius of the Kli and the Chitzenius of the Kli?
Kli is the thing that's makabel.
Right, and so there's the Pnimius of the Kli and the Chitzenius of the Kli. Where through doing a mitzvah, you bring it into the Chitzenius of the Kli, the Eir. And by learning Torah, you bring it to the Pnimius of the Kli.
Yeah, but that doesn't hold anything, the Chitzenius of Kli.
Right.
There's nothing, it's not a receptacle.
It's a great question. It's a great question. One day, hopefully, I'll know the answer to it, but today I don't.
Maybe I'll buy a bottle of Silberberg, maybe.
Yeah. Ubekiyum hadinin. And when a person is mekayim dinim, b'chitzeni is gevura, then you bring the iron to chitzeni is gevura, because dinim are associated with gevura. Ubarachim chulu, when you have compassion on someone, then you bring the iron to the chitzeni of rachman. The way and the passageway that the light goes through, is through the pnimius of the kelim. In other words, the light goes all the way to the chesenius of the kelim, but it goes through the pnimius of the kelim, and the moichin of the kelim, which is that when a person does a mitzvah with love and fear of Hashem, whether they're intellectual or whether they're instinctive, shehein b'chinas moichin the katmos v'gandlos, love and awe of Hashem, which is intellectually based, is called moichin the gadlos, and if it's tivium, if it's instinctive, it's called moichin the kadlos. It's small. It goes through the pnimius of the keli all the way to chesenius of the keli.
From there.
Well, and then from there comes down to Elam Hazah. Well, that's why Moshe Rabbeinu so much wanted to do the mitzvahs that were connected to Eretz Yisrael. As they state, the Gemara says, Moshe Rabbeinu was, he desperately wanted, he davened, he wanted to go ahead. And in fact, the Gemara, why does Moshe want to go into Eretz Yisrael? As the Gemara says, that's what Moshe wanted. He wanted a pomegranate. He wanted to be able to enjoy what? Some oranges from Yafo. What did he want, right? The Gemara says no, that there's so many mitzvahs that are connected to land, and I want sheyiskaimu al yadi. He says I want to be able to do the mitzvahs, but the question is, Moshe Rabbeinu, he's busy learning Torah, he's busy davening, he's doing all good stuff in the midbar. But the answer is, why did he want it? Because the point of everything is to be mamshich the Erin Saf Levada, to be able to elevate the kelim of Zah, Dibiyah, through work in Bria Yitzir Asiya, Shabahen Nerapach Nitzutzin, which contains 288 sparks, which requires Teira Mitzvahs and Biyah. So the bottom line is, every time you do a mitzvah, we're bringing down the light into Zoh Atzilus, which is the purpose of the whole creation, is to bring light into Atzilus. Again, which that light eventually comes down here. And therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu, he wasn't able to do those mitzvahs begashmias because it wasn't Eretz Yisrael.
I think Abraham Avinu, he was the first one, Ivri. And we describe him as a chesed, so all his descendants, us and all it's chesed. They have to have some chesed, because he started. Right?
I'm with you.
Is Leket Shikhan Day also mitzvahs ma'asos Tluis Baret?
For sure. I don't know about Shikha, but for sure Peah. I don't know if Shikha is a mitzvah ma'asos. It's hard to, but yeah.
Mitzvot Atluyot Be'eretz
Yeah, there's
Yisrael.
Trumas and Maestris and so many. Furthermore, no, sorry, I skipped Vihine. Yeah, Vihine. I thought I'd get away with skipping a few lines.
Not with this.
Give it to me. We know that the halacha is that in order to do a mitzvah, which if no one else can do it, then we're mevatel Talmud Torah. That's the halacha. Sorry, what?
Talmud Torah is connected kula.
Talmud Torah.
It seems to be. It seems to be.
This is something which is.
Little country kind of contrary to what if mitzvahs is so important.
Yeah, it's even more than that. The other points it out elsewhere in Tanya, Mamanoshach. If mitzvahs are more important than Torah, then why are you learning Torah? Go to mitzvahs.
Oh, that's.
Even if someone else could do the mitzvah, you should be wanting to do the mitzvah. And if Torah is more important than mitzvahs, then you shouldn't stop learning Torah, even if the mitzvah, if no one else could. There seems to be an inconsistency over it.
The contradiction is.
So last week there was a rally in Washington, right? Washington D.C.
Yeah.
You went through him.
I have no.
You were there?
He went. He has no credit.
I won.
I
Okay.
have no credit for that.
We send representative.
Sorry, sent representatives.
My grandchildren was there.
So did David. David went
The
out.
Bobbiches
Well, obviously they're in full force. That's correct.
Yes, they
That's
were,
used to
they were
film.
putting filling on people.
They say it was the most successful Mivtzoyim day maybe in the history of the world. And so I teach, as I mentioned in seminaries, I teach there Tuesday mornings. Half the class wasn't there, they went.
It was a big
So I asked them this week, they went, they said they're doing Neshek. They were giving out Cash Shabbos candles to everyone.
It was a big chizuk for everybody involved.
Right.
Eretz Yisrael,
unbelievable.
the people were very happy with it.
So this week, Tuesday, when I had this class again, I teach it once a week, these girls, I'm like, you went to the rally. Kind of chutzpah is that to go to the rally? You missed out on learning Torah. Even though women aren't mechuyev in learning Torah, like men are. But like, hey, what's going to the rally and miss you out learning Torah? So we had a whole conversation about this. Was a rally? Was it a mitzvah? Sheyev shalas day acherim. And if so, then taka mevatlin Talmud Torah. You have to, yeah. And by the way, it's a very reasonable argument because you can't say someone else can do the mitzvah because every person that goes
It's adds
to the chizuk, right?
Yeah.
But the question still is why taka? Why is mitzvahs more important than Torah? I feel even if you're learning not stam Torah. Let's say maybe you're learning Cheskas Sabatim, you're learning Aksas. But imagine you're learning Ma'aser Merkava, right? You're learning about the deer. Ma'aser Merkava, we're doing Ma'aser Merkava, right? You're learning Ma'aser Merkava. And the mitzvah, you have to stop learning Ma'aser Merkava. What's happens? Do the mitzvah. The Kol Shkein Tefillah, certainly. Certainly when there's a mitzvah that can't be done by someone else, you have to stop davening. Even though tefillah is what is, it's using your mind to understand Hashem and grasp Hashem. Vatam canal, but the reason as mentioned earlier. So the reason is that bottom line is when we do a mitzvah over here in Gashmias, so because of the tzutzas, the sparks in the mitzvah that we elevate, that brings the Eir and Saf into the Kelim of Zah, and that's the most important. What we're going to have right now, moving on from here, for the next few pages, Alter Rebbe is going to give us 5 or 6 reasons why mitzvahs ma'asiyos are so important. The first one we just learned is because it brings when we're mevar the tzutzis, it brings the light into Atzilus. And sorry, we're going to learn about Torah also. Yeah. The main distinction is not going to be about mitzvahs versus Torah. The main thing is mitzvahs versus the chilu urechim osichlim, which means that, by us, we take it for granted. You want to connect to the Eibishter, you do a mitzvah. But you go out into the world, and you tell, how do you connect to Hashem? So you connect to Hashem, well, Hashem is spiritual, right? So yeah, you don't connect to Hashem through doing a physical act. You connect to Hashem through spirituality, through meditation, and through having a relationship with Hashem. You ever went to someone who maybe wasn't from, and you say, do a mitzvah, I have a special relationship with God. I don't need to do that act, right? Me and God, we're good. Buddy. There we go, buddy, right? I love him, he loves me. But the truth is that really such a bad argument? The way to connect to something spiritual is through spiritual. But no. We say the way to connect to Eibush is dafka through mitzvahs. Why dafka through mitzvahs? So one thing we already said, that through because the physical objects have the netzetzes, right? And when we mavar the netzetzes, we bring down the air and stuff into Atzilus. That's one reason. Now the Alter Rebbe is going to give us another reason. It's going to take us. It's a long reason. Furthermore, the truth is, God love the Gava Mailas mitzvahs ma'asiyos. The Maila of doing action mitzvahs is so much greater. V'chein limudam. You see, and also learning about mitzvahs ma'asiyos. But note here, the Alter Rebbe doesn't say v'chein halimud. V'chein limudam.
What's the difference?
Action mitzvahs and learning about action mitzvahs. Not every part of Torah is learning about action mitzvah. You can learn sometimes about Agadat in the Gemara. Here we're talking about the advantage of doing a mitzvah and learning Hilchas Lulav, learning Hilchas Shabbos.
You need to know how to do the mitzvah.
It has a tremendous advantage al mailas hamoichem over that which you can achieve through your mind alone. Shehein, what is Shehein dechilu urchim usichlim, which is a love for Hashem, which is developed through the mind. Why? Kiegam diksi, even though the pasuk says lo dafka b'yi, it says we're supposed to connect to Hashem. And Chazal tell us on this, can you connect to Hashem? How is it possible to connect to Hashem? So the Gemara says that we're davik ayidei midaisav, that we connect to Hashem through His midas. So in a simple sense, what does it mean that we connect to Hashem through His midas? It means
what He does, we should do.
There you go. Mahu rachum, mafata rachum, mahu chal, mafata chal. Right? The Eibush is compassion. You're compassionate. And here He's saying something else. That when we have avas Hashem, we connect to the Eibush to midas ava. And Yiras Hashem, we connect to the Eibush, midas hagvurat, right? Nevertheless, a nenu davik. When you're connecting to Hashem through you having your midas, through your love and through your awe of Hashem, your respect and your fear for Hashem, You're not connecting afilu b'midas haliyanis. Even when we're not talking about the Eretz stuff, even when we're talking about the midas of Hashem, the midas of Atzilus, you're connecting ella b'mitziyusan v'lei b'muhusan. Only in the mitzias, not in the muhus. What does that mean?
What's Mahus?
I said only the mitzias and not the muhus. What does that mean? And when I say what does that mean, Reuben says, what does muhus mean? So,
Mahut.
mahut.
What do you mean?
What is mahut? Mahu mahut.
What's the in?
What?
In.
It looks like.
How do you
The
distinguish?
Hebrew Mahut
How
is
you make distinction between Mitzias and Mahus?
Plemiut. Saying this is a cup. What's Mahut to a cup?
I agree with you.
It's a plastic that you drink with. That's the Mahut.
What's going on here?
Mitzias means the existence of something. Muhus is the substance of what it is.
Of the soul. He said it. The
Oh,
plastic.
not disagree.
No?
So, you exist, that's your Mitzias. Would I say that my knowledge of you is limited to your Mitzias? No. I have a knowledge also of your Bahus. I understand you. I walk in, I sit down, I know that within 6 seconds you're going to ask, where are we starting from? What line on the page? I know what's going to happen if chas v'shalom, someone's phone happens to ring during class, right? Because I know your Bahus. And it's not only I know you exist, I know you.
My nature, you mean.
I know your nature, yeah.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
Mahus.
I know Sheldon. I know in advance when I'm going to say something, he's not going to like it. I know it.
Not true, you were wrong last week.
I was wrong last time, right? I don't know you perfectly. A little. Yes, you still surprise me sometimes. That is true. Yeah. Sasson, I know you're Mahus or Metzias. Which one? Mahut or both? Good.
You know, it's long time, so you better know our Mahut.
The Eibishter, the best we can do is what's called Yediyas HaMetzias. There's no Yediyas HaMahus in Hashem. We know He exists. We know He exists. We know also that He is the source of everything. But can I have a Yediyas HaMahus of Hashem? That's ridiculous.
You know he's about chesed, infinite.
So you would think so. You would think, okay, Mela,
That's
the
Mahus, right?
Aaron Sof, you would think, okay, the Aaron Sof, I could only have Yediyas HaMetzias. But maybe the Midas of Hashem, maybe I can have a Yediyas HaMahus in the Midas. So the Alter Rebbe says, no, even the Midas of Hashem, we can only have Yediyas. We know that it exists. More than that, we don't know. Kamesha Kosov, as the Pasuk says, I am but dust and ashes. What does that mean? So this is something that we did. I remember this. Simon Tetzvav and Negeres HaKodesh did a whole talk about this. Alter Rebbe cites from the Maggid, from his teacher, the Maggid. We know Avraham Avinu turns to the Eibush and says, "Vanechi afar ve'efer." I am dust and ashes. Which means he was saying that I've been garnished, right? I'm humble. I'm nothing. If you want to say I'm nothing, say I'm nothing. What's the significance of dust and ashes? So Alter Rebbe explains over there that we know there are four Yesodis. There are four elements. There's Eish, Muach, or Eish, Ruach, Mayim, and Afar, right? So the last one is Afar, is dust, or earth, whatever you want to call it, right? When you have a gorgeous piece of wood, so you have, imagine your intricate piece of wooden furniture, then it gets burned in a fire. So now what do you have left? You have ashes. So what is the ash? What are the ashes? The ashes are that basically the wood was made up of Eish, Ruach, Mayim, and Afar. And when the fire came, the Eish departed in the fire.
Those aren't elements.
Sorry?
That's not an element. Ash is a substance, not an element.
It's a substance whose primary element is the Afar.
It's not an element.
You're saying Afar is not an element, you're saying?
Not on the
Yeah,
periodic
often
table.
it's
Okay.
not an element.
It's on the periodic table.
Not a periodic table. Rich.
Right.
It's a matter of, that you're not discussing.
That's not a question.
chemistry
That's
here.
not a question on this. You're asking a question of what does it mean b'chol when we say therefore you say this, which is brought down in Sefer Yetzirah, when today we know there's 160 something you say. It's a good question. The Rebbe speaks about it, and I don't understand the Rebbe's answer, so I'm not going to say it, but because the Rebbe speaks in scientific language, which as you know, the Rebbe was a physicist,
scientist,
right? So the Rebbe explains it in scientific terms.
He was who? About Tanya?
No, Our
He
Rabbi,
was a
yeah.
scientist.
Yeah.
He worked he was an engineer.
Yeah.
What?
a physicist, I think. Yeah,
Physicist, I think.
No, he was.
He was an engineer?
but also, but physics definitely was.
Well, yeah, when you take
lot.
an engineer course,
Pretty
you
sure.
have physics. That's the side of everything. Without physics, you can't become
Yeah.
nothing.
I saw in a letter once that wrote someone that the four you say this are and energy and anti-energy, matter and antimatter. Okay, first day. But these are scientific terms. Right? So, like upon him, the Alter Rebbe says like this. Alter Rebbe says, and I can't answer your question. That's the theme today. I can't answer your question. Get used to it. He says, and he's got his name's the Magid, that when you have the water, the wind, and the fire, that's what leaves. When you have when something gets burnt, and what's left, the ashes is primary. Is just the offer. So. So now you think about it. The tree or this piece of furniture, yes, it's made up of the four elements, but what's the primary element? The primary element is offer. Like it's not mayim, it's not wet, not ruach, and not eish. So the primary element of the furniture is offer. And now the ashes also is offer. So mamash the same thing. Imagine picking up the ashes and saying, look at this. This is mamash the same thing as the piece of furniture. No, it's not. This is ashes. Avraham Avinu was saying, Anoichi offer ve'efer. I am like the offer, the earth, which is the ashes.
But he says, hey, for a second.
Because what is he's saying that just like ashes, it's made up of it's the offer. So youth might think that it's similar to but it's even though it's offer, it's just efer. So it says the same thing as also saying. No, he's saying the offer, which is made, the afer, which is really just the substance as offer.
Right?
So Avraham Avinu is saying, me, I am chesed. Right? So you're saying Avraham Avinu is midas chesed. So I'm chesed, and the Eibishter is a midas chesed, not silus. So you might think some sort of comparison between the chesed of Avraham. So Avraham says, no, comparing me to the chesed of Hashem, the chesed of Atzilus, is like comparing ashes to the furniture. To the furniture, right? Point is that it's not only the Eibishter we can't understand. The Eibishter's midas also we can't understand. We can't have a yediyah samahus even in the midas, which is why in Pasach Aliyahu we say Antu Chakim. We turn to the Eibishter and say, you are Chakim, you are wise. V'lei bechachma yediyah, not with the kind of chachma that we can understand, because we also have chachma. Antu Mavin, right? V'lei bebina yediyah, not the known quantity of bina. So therefore, it's not only the Eibishter that we can't have a Yediyah Sametzias, a Yediyah Samahusin, even the Midas of Atzilus also. It's only a Yediyah Samahus. Only a Yediyah Sametzias. The Kolchkin Beirat Seif Baruch Hu. This is the case when it comes to the Midas, how much more so when it comes to Eir and Saf. The last Machshavat Tfisa Bey. That no thought, no mind can grasp Hashem. No one can really grasp Hashem or the light that comes from Him. The only thing we know about the Eibush is that He exists. Shahu, which is Shemachayis Kulam. We know that the Eibush gives life to everyone. But we cannot have a Yediyah Samahus in Hashem. And it's not only us. I feel like even the Malachim, they also don't have a Yediyah Samahus in Hashem, and not in His Midas. As the Malachim say, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh Hashem Tzavayis Chulu. What does the word Kadosh mean? What? Agashade, removed, right? Beyond. So even the Malachim, the Shrafim, in the highest worlds, what are they? Kadosh, 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 Hashem. Removed. We can't understand the Eibush. That's the Malachim. The only ones who can have a Yediyas Hamahus of Hashem is Alulim HaNe'etzalim. You don't know what Alul HaNe'etzal is?
The highest of the highest.
And Netzal is not a creation. A Netzal is like the world of Atzilus, is an emanation. A Netzal is that which emanates from Hashem in a way of Olul. Olul means not that it's created. There's a Nivra and there's a Netzal. So how does a Netzal emanation come into being? Olul, it's a cause and effect. We spoke about this in Siman Chaf of Igeres HaKodesh. So in the world of Atzilus, where they're there, that's not creations. There, you have, it's like extensions of Hashem. Masigim kol echad bi'ilose. Every netzal is able to actually comprehend, have a yediyah samahus of its cause. Kfi Seder Shebei Chaim, as like the Seder that's explained in the writings of the Arizal, Bislapshus HaPartzufim, the way that the Partzufim, each one encloses itself in the one underneath it. Avalei ben Evrahim, but that's only Netzolim, that's only the emanations in Atzilus, but creations.
It's fitting.
Sorry?
Alul means that it's fitting that. It's fitting that.
Right, but Alul can also mean an effect. Ila of Alul is cause and effect. Right, Limtzei Ila is a reason. So the Alul is that which comes from the reason. In other words, the cause and the effect.
What's the cause and what's the effect?
In the world of Atzilus, Chesed is the cause, and like Chachma Bina are the cause, and Chesed and Gvura are the effect. So Chesed and Gvura are able to grasp their cause. They're able to have a Yedias Hamahus, but that's because they're not Nivroim. But when it comes to Nivroim, Avalei ben Nivroim, Afilu ben Neshamis Atzilus, even the highest Neshamis Atzilus, but because they're creations, they cannot have a Yedias Hamahus of Hashem. It says, you only see my backside. And by the way, even the backside, we're going to find out it's not really, even the backside of Elokus, also a Nivra can't see. And the only reason why Moshe Rabbeinu was able to, we'll find out later. So this is the problem. That's the problem. The problem is, I'm going to connect to Hashem through my Seichel. I'm going to understand Hashem. But what do you understand?
Nothing.
Just the Metzias, right? I'm going to connect to the Eibishter with my midas. I'm going to relate to, I'm going to love Hashem, but the one who you're connecting to your midas, the one who you love, the one who you fear, you don't have a substantive relationship with because you don't have a Yediyas Amahus. All you have is a Yediyas Amatzias. Mashenkin Maisa mitzvahs, that different. And now let's come to doing a mitzvah. We'll find out doing a mitzvah, then Taka, you're having a Hasagas Hamahus. You're actually grasping the Mahus of Hashem in a mitzvah. Maisa Lakim Hema, because a mitzvah, Maisa mitzvah, the act of a mitzvah, it's a godly act. Hine b'derech hishtal shlos mekelim datzilus libiyah. By way of the chaining down from the kelim of Atzilus to the worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah. Mimahusan va'atzmusan dechetzeni yusan. The light that comes from the essence of the chitzonius of Atzilus, that is what is within a mitzvah. For example, Esrig uminav. Let's say we know Esrig and the other three means, other three minim. Hilbesh ben HaKadosh Baruch Hu memuhutzan v'atzmusan. What is within the Esrig and the other three kinds? The Eibishter puts within them memuhutzan v'atzmusan, from the very essence, the chsadim pnimiyim deza, of the chsadim, of the inner chsadim of Zah. V'hainu b'bechinetz chitzeni yusan. Keeps on going back and forth. The pnimius of the chitzenius, kenoida b'chol mitzvahs maisis, as is known by every single mitzvahs maisis.
How do you relate to that when you're doing the mitzvah?
The Elokus is within the mitzvah, is within the Esrog and Lulav, and therefore when you're holding Lulav and Esrog, you're holding Elokus. Holding Elokus.
Elokus is infinite.
Yeah.
How could you hold it? You're just a finite.
This is what the Rebbe Barash once said, that when you're eating matzah on Pesach, you're eating Elokus. Sounds strange. And with your mind, you can't do it. And with your heart, you can't do it. Let's do more inside.
Was het de gesoedem, only gesoedem?
Why only Chsadim is a good question. I don't
You
know.
have to understand it with your,
Why Chsadim Rizlis? What?
you have to understand it with your mind that when you
Let's-
do a mitzvah ma'asiyas,
We're going to, you have to understand with your mind what?
when you do a mitzvah ma'asiyas that you're holding into other.
No, you don't have to understand it. It's the Metzias. That's the truth. Whether or not you understand it, that's the Metzias.
Mitzvah has no hester. Yeah?
What? Yeah.
Mitzvah has no hester.
Yeah.
The mitzvah is not what?
Hester. Let's do a little more inside. Mashenkin Adam. On the other hand, a person, I feel yes in a neshama datzilus. Even if you're the biggest tzaddik, and you have a neshama datzilus, ma'ach Hashem ulvashes beguf, because you're in a body, you'll never be able to find within yourself and to be able to grasp the muhus and the essence of the pnimius of the pnimius of the chsadim of zav atzilus. And in the parentheses, the Alter Rebbe explains why. I'll do this first outside, then inside. We know that in the neshama there are 5 different
Element.
what?
Elements.
The neshama has 5 different, right? The madrigas.
Really?
Yeah. Nefesh, ruach, neshama, chay, yechida, and that's in ascending order. Nefesh is the lowest. Now, of these 5, we know that only 3 of them are within the body. The nefesh, ruach, and neshama. Chay, yechida are what's called makif. They're beyond. They're connected to. They're the shayrish of the neshama. They're the source of the life, but they're too high. They're too lofty to be able to enter the actual guf. Now we know that Gam Sha'ilam Nasam Belibai, right? That every one of us is a reflection of everything. The same thing is also there are 5 different madrigas. So we have the world of Asiya is Nefesh, and the world of Bria, the world of Yitzira is Ruach, and the world of Bria is Neshama. The world of Atzilus then is Chaya, and Yechida obviously is Keser.
The 2 upper ones separate from the guf when the guf is sleeping.
The whole thing separates from the guf. Only a little is left from the Nefesh. Yeah. So if Atzilus corresponds to Chaya, just like Chaya doesn't enter the body because it's too high, so also any light which is from the world of Atzilus is beyond that which creation can, just like Chaya, the body can't access. So Atzilus is beyond what the worlds can access. So that's why we can't have any understanding, any grasp of the midas of Atzilus, as he says. If you're talking about the general worlds of Atzilus, Bria, Tzir, Asiya, the world Atzilus corresponds to Chaya. We know Chaya is always transcends above. It doesn't enter the Kli, doesn't enter the vessel. So Ki'im, the only thing that a person can do on their own is Mitziyusan, is relate to the Mitzias. They exist. I did the Chimu, right through Ataka can relate. If I have Avas Hashem and Yiras Hashem, so I can grasp the Mitzias, but not the Mahus. With that which the Pasuk says, that which it says.
I saw you from the back.
That Mishnah saw the back, and that's Atzilus. How can a Nivra even see the back of Hashem? So the answer is Ubederech Nevuah Dafka. That's a Nevuah. Nevuah is not something which you achieve and you accomplish. A Nivra can't see it. A Nevuah means that it's shown to you. And not only that, not only was it in the way of Nevuah, which means it's not a humanly possible achievement to be able to see it. It's a Nevuah, but more than that. But I am the Parsha. We know also that Nevuah, one of the preconditions of Nevuah, is this Pashas HaGashmias. By the
Nevuah you're not seeing with your eyes, you're seeing it with your brain.
Sorry?
The Nevuah you're not seeing with your eyes, you're seeing it with your brain.
Okay. Yeah.
Especially Sagashmis, you were drawn from all the.
I think that they would take off their clothing. They would act meshuga. Their body would shake because it's a nevuah. It's not as if I am within me, and you actually. It's kind of like you have to divest from your physicality in order to be able to experience the nevuah, because a physical being can't experience. So you have to almost like leave that physical for the time being, enter a trance-like state. The reason is because our creation cannot grasp the mahus of alakus shehu abayra. Ultimately, that's the creator. And if you're not able to grasp the mahus, you're not really connecting to Hashem. So you on your own with your ava, your yira, you're not going to be able to connect to Hashem. On the other hand, when you're shaking the esrog al derech mashal, chayu seinim sharav nistal shalom imahus chitzenis the kelim the nukva the zod atzilus. Where does the chayis in the esrog? Where does it come from? From the mahus of the chitzenis of the kelim of malchus of atzilus. Shehu bechinas alakus, which is godliness. So there's godliness within this esrog. As the Eitz Chaim tells us, Shekol HaPeiros Ein B'Atzilus. This state, Eitz Chaim tells us that fruit are sourced in Atzilus. And why is that? Ki lamid kelim d'Atzilus yardu l'biyah. The 30 vessels of Atzilus came down to Biyah. As this state. You have Malchus of Atzilus and the Kelim of Malchus d'Atzilus. So Malchus d'Atzilus, we know there's Chachma Sheba Malchus and Bina Sheba Malchus, right? So every one of the spheres is made up of all 10. So therefore, in Malchus of Atzilus also you have 10 Kelim in Malchus of Atzilus. You got it. There's the Keli of Chachma Sheba Malchus, the Keli of Bina Sheba Malchus, Chesed Sheba Malchus, Chet Sheba Malchus, Malchus Sheba Malchus. And every one of the Kalim of Malchus of Atzilus, so the 10 Kalim, is divided into 3. You have the, as I state in Kabbalah, don't ask me to explain this. There's the Pnimius, there's the Chetzenius, and there's the Emtsoi. The middle. So that's 30. 10 times 3 is 30. So that's what it says. It says the inner part of the 10 Kalim, they become the Neshama for the world of Bria. The Emtsoim, the middle, they become the Neshama for the world of Yitzirah. And the Chetzonius of the Kalim, the Chetzonius of these 10 Kalim, they become the Neshama for our world, for the world of...
So the function of Kalim is Tzimtzum.
Yeah.
And that therefore, something that's infinite, you're trying, but how much of it do these Kalim could hold?
But here's the main point. Excuse me.
Yeah.
The big idea is that at the end of the day, the Kalim of Atzilus are also Lakus. This is something, remember, Iyu v'chayoy yichad, Iyu v'garmoy yichad. Remember those words? We started off Siman Chaf Negeres HaKodesh. That in Atzilus, it's not only the Oiders that are Lakus, the Kalim also. And even the Chetzonius of the Kalim. That means that the Kalim, the Lamed Kalim of Malchus Atzilus, these are all Lakus. And again, the Chetzonius of these Kalim become the Neshama in the world of Asiyah, which means that ultimately the Neshama of the world of Asiyah is godliness. So what you have in the Esrig is a Lakus also inside. The 30 Kelim of Atzilus come down to the worlds of Bria, Yitzir, and Asiyah. These are the 10 utterances which the world was created. He said 30, now he said 10, but it's true. Because it's 10, but these 10 divide into 30 because there's the Pnimius, the Chetzenius, and the middle. So the Kalim of Atzilus, they come and they enter Nukva, which is Malchus of Asiyah, Muhus b'Muhus, the Muhus of the Kalim of Atzilus, enter Malchus of Asiyah. Ki HaKalim d'Atzilus nasu neshama b'Asiyah. The Kalim of Atzilus become the neshama of the world Asiyah. Shehi b'chinas alakus mamish, because ultimately the Kalim of Atzilus are alakus. Lefi shebatzilus iyu v'gamay chad. In Atzilus, Hashem is one even with the Kalim. Hamatzil v'hanetzal. The emanator and the emanations are all one. By day, through the neshama entering. The mahus of the kelim of Malchus of Asiyah and Esava Esrig. That's how the Esrig was created. Nimtza also turns out Kshateif as a Esrig. That when you hold the Esrig, and you're shaking it according to Allah, you're actually holding the Chayis, which is in the Esrig, which is Minukva Datzilus of Malchus Datzilus, Ham Yechad as Beir in Seif, Hamatzil Baruch Hu, which is one with the Eir and Saf. Mashaking bekavanasi, as opposed to if you have kavana, any masig ve'tefis. Afa yedei asayid. Even if you know the secret behind the esrig, you're not. This is not a sagas hamahus. Ela mitziyusa. The only thing in your mind, all you can get is the mitziyas. V'lei muhusa, but not the muhus.
But mahus is something intellectual. It has self-concept. It has to come from the mind. How by doing a mice in itself?
If I'm a blind person,
yeah,
chas v'shalom, right? But I close my eyes. A better muscle. I close my eyes, and you tell me I put my hand. I pick this up, and I have no idea what it is. No idea. So can you say that I have a sagas hamahus in this?
No.
But I'm holding the mahus in my hands.
But you don't know what
What's that supposed to mean?
Mahus, I think, is the essence The essence of the thing.
I would say the substance of the thing.
I think that's a good.
The substance. You know, the definition of what it is. My point is, to try to understand Hashem is ridiculous. But when you're holding an esrig, you're holding it. You're holding a lakus in your hands. Do you understand it? No, but you're holding it. That's a tfisa. That's a.
There's alakus in everything. There's alakus in the wood, in the table, on the floor. There's alakus. There's nothing.
So why do we have to do mitzvahs?
Without alakus, it's so vavogu.
See, there's a reason why you came to Tanya classes. So why do I have to do a mitzvah? I can just hold this cup.
That's also.
So Reb Shulam answered this question before. Reb Shulam answered this question before. Person sitting next to you.
Oh, he's Reb Shulam. I didn't know that. It's awesome.
Okay.
It's a chefzer shem mitzvah.
He says, yeah, the emes is taka, that every single time that I do a mitzvah, every physical object has a lakus in it. But in every physical object, the lakus is hidden. It's klipa. That's why this table is klipa.
Yeah, but when I'm holding yasrik, I don't. It's
So
also.
when you're doing a mitzvah, there is no klipa, there is no helam v'hester. So then, if there is no helam v'hester, the lakus is begili. If it's begili, you're holding a lakus. And that's the advantage of doing a mitzvah over all the feelings you have and all the understandings you have. Ultimately, my feelings, my understandings, it's only again, asages, ametzias, not yidiyas amahus. When you do a mitzvah, it's asages, amahus, you're holding a lakus in your hands. That's not the emphasis.
How do you perceive it?
It depends how you define revelation.
What is revelation? It smells good. You know.
If you're holding a lekut in your hand, you're coming closer to the Eibishter.
Yeah.
Moshe Rabbeinu did not put tefillin. Moshe Rabbeinu, but he did all the kavonas from tefillin. And a simple Jew put tefillin and say Shema. Who is Mekayim the mitzvah? Moshe or the other?
If the mitzvah requires a ma'aser.
Reuven, let me ask you a question.
What?
What's this for? The water in this cup, what's it for?
For yourself, to drink.
To drink. Is that revealed?
Yeah,
You see that?
I see the water.
Okay. You see water. I didn't ask you if there's water there. What does the word revealed mean, as I'm trying to bring out?
It's hard for me to relate to it.
My point is,
I see something.
hidden is when something is distorted. Distorted means that when it proclaims something that it is something that it isn't. Everything distorts. This chair says, I'm made to sit on it. But that's not true. The truth is it's made to sit on it to learn Torah. But the chair doesn't tell you that. It distorts. The lakus within it is not begili.
Now what?
It's not revealed.
No big deal.
But when you take the esrig and you shake it for the mitzvah, the lakus is revealed. There's nothing distorted over here. It's truth.
You're
The lakus is
showing
revealed.
what the purpose of it is.
And that's
You're
why.
doing a ma'aser to
So the
reveal
lakus is revealed, and you're holding it in your hand. And that is the maila of mitzvahs over any sort of intellectual or emotional attachment with Hashem. Doing a mitzvah is holding the mahus. The intellectual or emotional connection is only yediyas hametzias. That is what we talk now. And next week we're going to transition to what, and how about if I learn Torah? What if I learn the halachas of a nesrik? What if I learn the Kabbalah behind a nesrik? And what if I learn Bechlal something else? And that we'll talk about in Mitzvah Hashem